Okay, thank you everyone for being with us this afternoon. I think we're going to get started with our, our event. My name is Betsy Leet. I'm sure I know most of you on the call. Today, our virtual vigil for Mr. George Floyd this afternoon. I've worked on some words to read to you and some thoughts that I'd like to share with you. And then we have several other speakers that will be joining us today. And so I think I'm just going to get started. I do want to give some of the credit to my friend Lou Bender and colleague. As a pastor, she has a way with words, so she helped me with these words this afternoon. The first thing I really want to emphasize is I know we are all feeling so much right now. Sadness, anger, grief, just emotions, confusion, so much. And our intent for this afternoon is to create a space of love and support where we can honor those feelings and we can be here for one another. There will be times for debate, of course, over the next years, months, days. And we are looking forward for this space to be a place of love and support. As I was thinking about opening today, I was drawn to a magnet that I have on my refrigerator. And a good friend of mine gave it to me, and it's kind of kind of after this start seeing motorcycles idea, I guess, but it says start seeing humans. And as I was thinking about this, I realized that George Floyd, to many of us, is absolutely a symbol of injustice, as the many, many men and women of color who have come before him. But today I wanted to pause and see him as a human and all that that means. A human with beautiful qualities, a human with who makes mistakes, and a human that has now lost his life to such an extreme tragedy. So when I was doing some research, I discovered many things about him. He was 46 years old. He recently moved from Houston to Minnesota for a better job. When he was a high school student in Houston, he went to Jack Yates High School. He played as a star tight end in 1992 in a high school state tournament in the Astrodome. They lost 38-40, but he was quite a star. He then went on to Texas A&M University in Kingsville, where he continued to play football. He was known to his friends and family as the gentle giant. He was quite tall and had a quiet and beautiful personality and spirit. Most recently, he worked at Conga Latino Bistro, which is actually right next door to a place I lived when I was in college in Northeast Minneapolis. He was known as Big Floyd. He loved Latin music and salsa, and his boss and others that worked with him tried desperately to teach him how to dance, but he was never able to quite figure that out and blamed it on being too tall. He was recently laid off during the pandemic, and he has a 6-year-old daughter that he leaves behind in Houston. I think it's always important to not just have a number, but to see humans. And that's what I wanted to start with today. And now some words that I've prepared for you. I will not call for patience. I cannot call for patience. Addressing injustice in our system must be immediate. TCA is committed to that. I know communities of color and their white allies have been waiting for centuries for justice, and it's way past time. This afternoon is the time for us to come together to support, care, and love one another as we renew our commitment and continue our journey together towards this justice. You will hear some of our most important voices in this conversation this afternoon, the voices of our graduates and current students. Please honor their words as truth to their experience. After hearing from our next generation of leaders, we will take a moment of silence to reflect on what we heard and to open our hearts and minds to love and action. After this time, our teacher leader, Mr. Ng of our Student Racial Justice Club, will give us a chance to begin planning the next steps towards action and healing. What I will call you to do this afternoon is to stand together, people of all colors in our community. I urge students, staff, families, neighbors, the entire TCA community to stand together. Stand together in seeking understanding, opening both our ears and our hearts, listening when we should listen, and speaking when we should speak. Stand together in silent support with those who are weeping, saving space for as long as it takes to soak the earth with tears and wring ourselves out with weariness. Stand together keening with the weight of the current struggles, added on top of centuries steeped in racism. So no, not patience, but standing together. That's what I call you to do. Stand together in a call for truth, love, and justice to prevail. With those thoughts, we're very fortunate to have permission from one of our former students, Rakia Walker. She graduated, I believe, about 5 years ago. A much beloved student, as they all are. And she shared something. She's currently studying at the University of Minnesota Duluth in a degree focused on creative writing, as I understand it. And she wrote a poem that she posted on Facebook and some narrative afterwards that we would like to share with you now. So I'm going to ask Lou to go ahead and share the screen, please.
So with everything that's happening with the George Floyd case and the Minneapolis Police Department and just everything, I wrote a poem, and I know that some of you know that I write poetry and that I share it sometimes, but this felt like the time to do that. And I just wrote it, so I am gonna have to read it off the page, and it's time, like I just felt like it was time to write something meaningful. But anyways. Little black boy with your eyes shining bright, I'm going to do my best to teach you wrong from right, along with how to read and write. You've got a lot to learn, and you don't have much time before that fierceness and determination that they admire becomes a crime. And I'm not really sure how to say this to you, son, but at some point, just like your ancestors, I'm gonna ask you to run. Run because you're guilty even though you're not. Run because that amendment doesn't apply to you. Run because your skin, your everything is a gun, and you were named a name that I wanted people to say, but not at memorials, not prematurely written on a grave. Not on a long, long list of names where your life is summed up in a second, even though you took 9 months to make. I'm telling you to run if you can, and I will leave my light on, and I'll find you an underground railroad, because this freedom that they say we have does not include black souls. So you better run. So I wrote that because obviously I have black brothers, I have black uncles, and I have black cousins, and then I have black aunts and black sisters, and you realize that, like, it's not limited to black men. It shouldn't. I just keep thinking, like, it's not, will I make it home? I wake up and I'm excited, and I can think about, I don't know, what does this day have to offer? And then as I keep going through it, I think of all the instances where I might do something that's considered inappropriate, and then suddenly like I'm in a situation I can't get out of, and I think about getting pulled over anytime I go slightly above 30, and will I make it home if I get pulled over? And thank God I've never been pulled over, but would I make it home if I was? And some people think that's irrational, and those people who think that have a privilege to think it's irrational, because it's not. It's not if you have the skin color. It's not if you have a slight of, when your skin is seen as aggressive, anything you do is aggressive, and that's it. And so I just keep thinking about the privilege and how angry I get when I hear another name, because it's fill in the blank. That's all it is. It's if my brothers are in the wrong situation, will they make it home? Will I get, like, if I call them multiple times, will they answer the phone? And if they don't, then are they okay? You know, and I don't know. I don't, and I don't like that, and I don't like that this is the world that we live in, and I don't like that this is a country that claims it's free, and I'm tired because we keep breaking ourselves to say the same thing over and over again. We're screaming and our throats are aching, and we're saying this is not okay, and everyone's saying it's not okay. So why is it happening? And why is every incident an isolated incident? And why is it not a trend? And why aren't you figuring out how we stop this trend? And when you have an entire group of people who's not going to be protected, like, by the people who are supposed to protect people, and that's okay. That's not a world that I want to live in. And so on top of everything else, you walk out of the house and you think, am I going to make it home? And if I don't make it home, who are they going to be okay? Is everyone going to be okay? Will they start a riot? Will they be okay? It is a spiral. It is a spiral, and it's all consuming, because this is just a lot of melanin, and it's golden and it's beautiful, and yet it is seen as threatening. And how can something so beautiful be threatening? And it just doesn't make sense. And that's not cocky, that's factual. It's an entire race of beautiful people, and you just, people kill them. They kill us because I don't know why. I don't. And that was a lot. That was a rant, and I didn't mean for it to be one, but this is it. I don't know. It's not the world that I want to live in. It's not, because if you know me, am I threatening? But if you didn't,
You're muted.
Thank you. That was extremely powerful, and we'll continue to hear the words from our future leaders, from from students who we have so much faith in to lead the change with us. So our next speaker, as my understanding, is Serena Munoz Olson from our Racial Justice Club.
Serena, if you're here, will you unmute yourself?
Can you hear me?
Yes, I'm just trying to find you.
Okay.
Hold on. Okay, say something again.
Hello.
I'm looking. Oh, are you under like your phone number?
I don't know. It's whatever. Yeah, just
There you are. Okay, I see you. Okay. You're all good.
Okay. So if I go out of this, like to go to the my Google Docs screen, can you still hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Okay. Hello, my name is Serena, and I am a senior from TCA. I wrote this to share my thoughts on everything and what is going on. Corruption and evil don't stop for anything. They don't stop for
think we lost her.
I think so too.
Online, that it shouldn't be shared. What we witnessed was murder. Another torturous event for the Black community, and another one of their brothers, sisters, mothers, or fathers killed by a police officer. I need to say that sadly, in the society that we live in today, we need these videos. We must subject ourselves to watching these events happen over and over, even though they are too graphic, even though they are too real. We need these videos to bring an understanding to those of us ignorant to the lives, those of color, that live each and every day a life in danger. We, and when I say we, I mean all of us, including and especially white people, need to see this danger lately. It seems the only thing we do not have to worry about is how to die. When a person wakes up and does not have to think about these things, that is called privilege. We deserve a life that is lived the same. We do not deserve a life that is less than. These videos are proof we live in a society warped by corruption and evil. These videos are proof we live in a world of hate and one of privilege, but not for all. Until now, these injustices have always occurred, but without evidence of them. All we had were our voices. We need these videos to bring justice to the lives that were wrongly lost, because for so long our perspective. And while I do not believe that riots and lootings are the answer, it's time to be heard. I just ask those considering taking part in the riots or looting to please consider the fact that there are families, Black families that own some of these stores that are just trying to get by like everyone else. To be completely honest, I have never truly understood how white people who come from such a small portion of the world attained all the power. How did they become the superior ones? Many people disagree that racism exists today. Many do not believe or say they do not know about the issues that Black or other minority groups experience, but they know because we all know. We all see what is happening, even if we all see it on our phones. We all know who is hurting. We all know because we either turn our backs and do nothing, or we reach out for help, and oftentimes no help is to be found. So please tell me how that makes sense. I think we can both agree there is a problem. Yes, we need to be equal, but when you say all lives matter, the only lives that have been proven to matter are those that belong to white people. When you say all lives matter in a world where Black lives have not, and in a situation where Black lives are fighting for their human rights, it diminishes those Black people that are demonstrating, and it silences their words. Let me give you a similar personal example. When you say all lives matter at a Native Lives Matter demonstration, you're demonizing Native people, silencing their words, and removing any shred of hope for their equal rights. If there is one small change you could make that will make a world of a difference, please do not say all lives matter. Join us in saying Black lives matter or minority lives matter. Let us have our voices be heard for once together instead of having them silenced and drowned out. Let us be part of the necessary change. We want a change. We need a change. We deserve a change. We need a police system where the communities that us minorities come from can trust. We need a society where racism is a thing of history, but not erased from history, so that we can learn from the mistakes of our past. Everyone, if they play a part, can ensure that justice is served for each and every life lost. And as Spike Lee said, do the right thing. That's it.
Period.
Thank you, Serena. Okay, next we have Emmanuel Glass. Emmanuel?
Yeah.
Hey, Emmanuel.
Hello. Well, as stated, my name's Emmanuel, senior. Do I say graduate now? I don't know. Anyways, I'm that now. But on a more serious note, this is what I wrote. So, in a time like this, as a young African American man, I want to say that I'm angry, but most importantly, I am tired. Tired of all the constant fear of what it means to have skin like mine in a society that perceives me as a threat. Tired and angry about the murder of George Floyd during a global pandemic where the only threat and fear I should be facing is this virus. I want to say that I do not condone the destruction of the small and local businesses and the damages done to our very own community. But despite my previous statement, I want to address those who feel the protest is being handled the wrong way. I ask you to look at our history. For generations, the Black community has found ways to be the bigger person in a country that acts as if we are little. We are murdered. We have stood in solidarity. We have marched. We have stood in solidarity, sat in stores that were not meant for us, and now we kneel. When we marched, we were stopped. When we stood together, they fought to tear us apart. And now when we kneel, we are called unpatriotic and asked to stand. And if taking a knee just as unpatriotic and as unjust as cutting a man's life short, then I ask you to stand. To those who are saying the riots are no longer about the death of George Floyd, you're absolutely right. This is about a system that we are taught and institutionalized to. A system that we are taught at home, on the street. At school, we are told the system is meant to protect us, even from that which we question, but we are told we don't know any better. Yet anyone can see it was never made to protect people who look like me. In recent news, it has been confirmed that Derek Chauvin has been charged with third-degree manslaughter, a small victory and a step in the right direction. What is important is what we do next. You have seen our anger, you have seen our struggle. It is time to start looking to fix and hold these systems accountable. A broken and hazard judicial system, a corrupt system of law enforcement, disproportionately affecting Black and other minority communities, a dysfunctional societal system of racism. We are angry and the time of action is now. We are tired and tired of the struggle, tired of the fight, but we continue to stand. Thank you.
Period.
Thank you, Emmanuel. Amazing. I believe next we have Adriana Lopez. Adriana Lopez.
Yep. Can you hear me?
Sure can.
All right. Let me just get my paper ready. It's right here. Okay. All right. All right. Sorry, I'm just taking graduation pictures. But let's see. The pain and agony we feel is intense, and in so many other words, a magnitude of what we harbor every day in our hearts. How many tears will we shed that haven't already filled all the ocean and the seas? How many loved ones can we hold onto before they're stripped of their life? And finally, how much blood on the man's hands to stop the chaos? In this writing, I hope to shed some light on what makes us human and how it correlates with actions we make and why consequence should slam down on the fate of justice. I know it hurts. It hurts bad. I can't speak for everyone, but I'm afraid to be alive in 2020. I'm afraid to open Skittles. I'm afraid to be a kid or a teen. Afraid to get pulled over, do anything that fits my stereotype. My personality Even when I was born, my personality, characteristics, mannerisms, every fiber of my vessel is seen as aggressive. I can't take it. I can't breathe. Why do we believe that this country is the land of the free when, sorry, when we're not free? Please break the chains of inequality that binds and confines me to be truly free. So live and to live in prosperity, we need reciprocity. Possibly we'll live to see it in our lifetime, is what many of us secretly hope for 400 years. Many of us pled to the God you gave us, and we still do. Help us, because none of these white people in power seem to think there's a problem in our country. Okay, hold on. All lives matter. All lives matter. Did it matter when we carried the weight of the country on our backs? When we picked your cotton and tobacco, and you lusted our bodies that you later turned into strange fruit hanging on the willow trees? Did it matter then? So why does it matter now? Our whole existence in this country has been about race. Yet we are ashamed if we dare consequent the white man that it still exists. That's it.
Thank you so much.
Yes, Adriana.
Okay, and now I think we have some words from Hyatt. Hyatt, are you there?
I do not think is here. She is currently at a protest.
Okay. Okay, I just want to thank our very brave students today. You know, there's so much going on and so many, like I said at the beginning, emotions, and I just feel so blessed and humbled by your words. So now what we would like to do is just take a moment of silence for all of us to just really allow the words to become a part of us and to give honor to the loss of life of Mr. Floyd. So beginning now, we'll just take a moment of silence. Okay, I think we'll come back now together. I now would like to turn it over to Mr. Ng. One of the things we, in our planning yesterday with the Racial Justice Club that you've heard from and administration, it was strongly felt and agreed to that leaving this time together without hearing other voices who have joined us, as well as with next steps, would feel very, well, that we needed it. I don't know what the right word is. So I'm going to turn it over to Mr. Ng now to kind of close us out. Again, from myself personally and all of TCA and all of the TCA folks who've joined us and everybody, we're just so grateful that you joined us today and that we have an opportunity to come together as a community to hear the powerful words of our students and to continue our work together towards a better world. Okay, Mr. Ng, you're on.
All right. As I read the words that I've prepared today, I would like everyone here to think about your role. Think about your role in our learning community. Think about your role in our greater community. Think about the number of times that you have seen someone in pain, physical or otherwise, and maybe you helped, but maybe you walked past. And as I close, I'll have some questions for you. But first, I want to thank you for joining us today. Thank you for staying as long as you have. These are real issues demanding real attention. And you're being here, you're listening, not just with your ears, but with your hearts, is one of many steps to a potential solution. I want to be clear before I get too into my thoughts and feelings that we are gathered here to celebrate the life of George Floyd. We are here to celebrate the person he was, and while tragic, what his death adds to the many movements looking for racial and social equity. We are not here, nor do I teach my students, to denounce all police officers or to say that all police officers are bad. I do agree, however, that there exists a problem, many problems, in our judicial system, in the way law enforcement as a whole operates, and with the society that we have built and maintained. In the short time this meeting has taken place, we have had the opportunity to hear from staff, students, and a former student speak about not only their thoughts or feelings about the death of Mr. Floyd, but about their lives and their experiences. Do not let their voices be silenced. Do not let their words and their tears be for nothing. And do not turn your backs when real change can be just around the corner. I want to thank the administration of Twin Cities Academy and Ms. Leet in particular for asking me to speak about what is next for our community, about how we can heal and what we can do as individuals to make a difference. I should also thank them that this event is taking place today instead of earlier this week, because if this were to have taken any early, how I felt about how I feel. At first, I felt sadness. A deep sadness for the family of George Floyd, for the families of Philando Castile, Jamar Clark, Terrence Franklin, Tysel Nelson, and all others who have lost loved ones in similar fashion, only to relive their trauma with every new instance. Then the sadness turned to anger. Anger that this is not the first time a Black life has been lost in this very situation, not the first time in our world, not the first time in our country, and not even the first time in our neighborhood. And then a sense of emptiness, as the realization that while not being the first time, this is also unlikely the last time that something like this will happen, and unlikely the last time that I will have gone through this same range of emotions. But seeing all of you here, I now feel hope. Hope for a new tomorrow where every person can wake up and have the same freedoms to live their life to their choosing. Hope that they can also rest assured that they will come home that night and every night. We will not solve the problem today, and we will not solve the problem tomorrow. But what we can do is listen and learn. We can face these issues together. I am not Black, but I do not have to be in order to listen and to be compassionate. I am not Black, but I do not have to be in order to stand up for others when they cannot do so alone. I am not Black, but I don't have to be in order to know that their lives matter. I end by asking you to take some time tonight to think about and answer the following questions. Who are you? What do you stand for? How can you make a difference? Thank you.
Thank you so much. Okay. I believe that concludes what we had planned for this evening. Oh, I want to thank all of our speakers. I know I've been really working through my own stuff today and this week, and trying to find words, and so I know it's not easy, and I know it takes a lot of courage, and I just can't tell you how grateful I am for you. And to all of us on this call, we are here, I am here. We need to stay together, we need to support one another. We need to be here when each and every one of us falls down, when we're sad, when we have successes and joys. So please reach out to us. Please know we're here, and please know that we are just so thankful to be a part of this community. So with that, we will continue this dialogue in a variety of ways as we move through the summer and on into every day that we are working at TCA, every day of our lives, every minute of our lives. So please watch things like our newsletters, other emails, blasts, social media, and the likes for lots of things that we want to continue the conversations. And again, this is for our future. This is for our students that are here and for all that aren't here. And so just stay grounded in that. And I thank you. And with that, I wish everyone safe journeys. I wish everyone, I think that's it, safety and hopefully some moments of joy while we're also grieving to keep us going. Thank you. Have a wonderful night.
this sometime. Even if you stumble, even if you struggle, as you make your way, you got to be a light and shine, especially in these perilous times. The only way that we know that things will be fine. You just be the light as you walk on your way. Be the light in the night and day. Be the light for your family and friends. Be the light from the beginning to the end. Be the light when the way gets dark. Be the light. You could be a spark. Don't you think it's time? Time for you to shine. Be the light and shine. Take it one tiny step at a time. On your journey. As you journey on home, be the light and shine. Open up your heart and mind. Everything is gonna be fine. Sometimes it's kind of hard. Sometimes it feels dark. Sometimes I know you know what I mean. I mean sometimes you're sitting and you're in the dark and you're wondering. What? Who's gonna show up? Who's gonna save me? Who's gonna make it all okay? Well, you know what?
We gotta do it.
We gotta do it. We've got to be the light as you walk on your way. Be the light every night and day. Be the light for your family, your friends. Be the light in the beginning and the end. Be the light when the way gets dark. Be the light. You better be a spark. Don't you think it's time? Time for you to shine. Be the light and shine.
We're gonna go ahead and shut it down now.